Welcome back to The Huddle on 840 Fox Sports Radio. The Huddle brought to you by 956sports.com, powered by our friends at Mickey D's. Have I asked this show so far? What's the name of this song?
It's, I'm not sure the name of the song, but it's Two Door Cinema Club.
Two Doors Cinema Club? Can I Shazam it real quick?
Shazam! That used to be my favorite Saturday morning show back in the day.
Shazam. The Lightning Bolt. I don't think Jake knows what we're talking about.
I love Shaquille O'Neal.
Hang on.
Was that the name of that movie that he was in?
It's Kazam,
That
right?
was Kazam.
You know, Shaq doesn't get enough credit for his entertainment career.
I love Blue Chips.
It's called What You Know by the Two Door Cinema Club. The power of Soundhound and Shazam all of a sudden.
Nice.
I love that stuff.
What would we do without technology?
But I do look like a moron when I'm at the club and I hear a song and I'm holding my phone.
You don't do that at the club.
I do.
That's his dance move. What are you talking about?
I do.
And you got to know, Tony always goes to the club in a suit, too, so you see a guy with a suit holding up his phone. What's this jam? That's my jam.
Hey, have you guys seen the video on? I put it on my Facebook, but it was one of basically Asian people. Please leave basketball alone. Have you seen that one?
What?
It's a Conan one, and it's the funniest thing in the world.
Is it like with the Linsanity thing? Everybody trying to piggyback on that?
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. And this guy gets up there, and it's funny as can be. He's up there, and he goes, "Asian people, please leave basketball alone. You've already taken hip hop dance." And,
oh yeah.
and I was like, it's true.
Yeah, if you watch those best dance crew shows, it's all the dudes from like Korea.
Hey, it's crazy. It's like it skipped me because I got no moves whatsoever.
Are Filipinos known for the
I'm
dance
not
moves?
Filipino. I'm Thai.
I know.
I'm Thai and white. I cannot. Wow.
Thai's known for boxing, not dancing.
And again, it skipped him there too.
Yeah, I get pummeled.
The eating part was all right though. Yeah. They got some good shots.
Yeah. Speaking of fighting.
Great segue.
Yeah.
Great segue.
Wow, you're learning.
Yeah.
Don't know if you guys managed to log on to 956sports.com or hook us up on Facebook. Yeah. There was an incident that happened at Mission football during their off-season practices. It all depends on who you talk to, on how this is being spun. Obviously, our peeps in Mission say, hey, it was just something that happened, no issues. And then if you hear from other people, there's other things going on behind the scenes. And Jay, give us what you heard, because you were actually the man that first reported this.
Yeah, the rundown was they were running some drills during their athletic period, and it's competition. It's their competition days and stuff like that. It's for the kids to really get into it. And you know what? I've seen it before. I'll throw in some insights later into when I coach basketball, I've seen it there too. But basically, two kids were going at it in the drill. I'm not sure what the drill was. I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe
dog bone.
And basically it got a little physical, turned into a fight, and one kid got jacked up pretty good. So and
obviously, it's competition, and competition brings out sometimes the best in people, sometimes the worst in people.
And
these two kids are friends. They're guys that play together, and it's just an unfortunate thing that happened. But consequences are now being paid. There's some people that are have to take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
My thing is, and I'm not going to openly criticize anything, but where was the supervision during this competition?
Well, and I looked at that too, but and I started to look at it, and I remember in basketball when I wasn't even coaching the boys at the time. I remember two guys. I think this is right before a playoff game, and they're both best friends now, and they were then. One was talking smack during practice, didn't like it, and you can only talk so long, or when the competition, especially when you're fighting for spots and stuff like that.
Right,
they're their friends, best friends. And two of the star players, all of a sudden, it was just a throwdown. Basically, he's like, "You need to shut your mouth." The guy didn't want to shut up, and all of a sudden, punched the face. And the thing about guys, and I'm not going to say this is the same thing because I don't think it was, but guys, we can get into fights, and then the next moment we're like, "Hey, man, remember I punched you in the face?" And it happens. It happens. But I don't know if this case, if the kid has to go. I'm not in the. I don't want to say rumors. From what I'm hearing, and I'm hearing from legitimate sources, that the kid had to go to the hospital to get checked out. So, if it's true, it's true. I'm efforting right now to find out. So,
all right. Well,
but I know it's kind of hush hush over there.
Okay, so things are under wrap, but just a heads up in case this thing hits. We want to give you the insight first.
And the thing is, when I was in high school, I remember, I threw a basketball against a kid's head because I didn't like him. And remember, I was a big jerk back in the day. Now I'm so nice. Now I'm so nice. I mean, I threw a basketball against a guy's head because he made me mad in practice. Probably not the nicest thing.
Poor Argentinian kid didn't even know what was going on.
I moved to South Dakota at the time, but I had proper form. Both thumbs were out on the release. The ball was, I mean, you know what? And so what if we were 6 feet away? Didn't matter.
Ask any one of Brett Favre's receivers how hard he threw the ball every time.
He didn't catch the ball. That's the problem. It's his fault. His hands were down, and his head was to the side.
Did that guy come after you?
Yeah, he was huge. He's like
South Dakota's got big dudes.
6'5" kid. Yeah. No, probably not and I was like this at the time. I was skinny, so
no Thai boxing skills either. So.
No, I have the Thai running skills. Run and find the coach.
but with your experience, when those kind of things happen as a coach or just as a player in high school,
it happens.
It happens so fast that the authority figures there sometimes can't get there quick enough. You know what I mean?
Right. And the thing
especially in football when you're in that contact, and then all of a sudden it could just be like,
And to a parent, it all depends. To a parent, you didn't make it. Even if you jumped in there. It's not fast enough,
right?
And really,
especially if your kid has to end up going to the hospital for playing in an extracurricular activity at school.
Of course, there's a guy on the Facebook that was like, "Oh no, it happens. It happens. Let it go." And I'm like, "Yeah." I go, but I know for a fact that if it was your kid, you'd be crying bloody murder.
Right.
And that's the thing. Everybody, if it was my kid,
if aggressive play, and a perfect example is Santa Rosa, Santa Maria. There's nine people that are looking at jail time
really
for that little brouhaha that happened out there. Yeah. So obviously competition, like we said, brings out the best in people. Sometimes it brings out the worst in people. And as adults, we need to learn how to be able to separate that.
Yeah.
And you have to realize this is a point where I need to jump in, or this is a point where I just, hey, it's part of growth and it's part of.
Well, and we all have that as Texans. We all have that blindfold of football. So it's like, oh, the boys are just out there playing football. Who cares? But sometimes
I like how he has to put that.
I'm talking about old school boy. Those guys.
Yeah,
those guys that come to your practices every day that played 30 years ago. Those kind of guys are. Hey, they're playing. Don't worry about it. But then when you get home and your kid has. Something broken or something that an injury that shouldn't come from a football practice,
right?
Then you don't want that to be your kid,
But I know this from teaching and coaching is that guy fights are a lot quicker than girls fights. Like guy fights are like, especially guys, they'll roll around on the ground for a while, like try to punch each other, and then it's over. Girls, it's different. Girls, like, all out cat fight, grabbing hair.
Go to YouTube and just put girl fight in there.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of those downtown.
Yeah, but, for guys, you never, like, watching them fight, it's real quick.
It's a lot of posturing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a lot of posturing.
And this one, I think, was just like one of those things where, and I could see it from the coach's perspective. I can see it from the parent perspective, too. They're probably like, oh, it'll be over. Oh, yeah. Punch, stuff like that. And that's one of those things where you're like, boy, that happened quicker than I thought it was going to happen. Yeah. And I can see that.
It does.
And I don't like it that if a coach has to get put on suspension or something. Reprimanded. I don't like that kind of stuff.
It's one of your brethren.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a time out. We'll pause for commerce. Scott Ford scheduled to join us next hour. Thanks to our man Chris King from the UTPA Athletic Department. Thanks to Coach Raul Vega of the Nicky Rowe Lady Warriors for joining us here in the Huddle. And, of course, thanks to you guys for listening. Second hour of the Huddle on the way. Scott Ford making his way into the Huddle right here on 840 Fox Sports Radio.